Hi guys, welcome back. So in this lecture we're going to look at a strategy for multiple matching, which is going to make it a lot easier for you to actually complete this task. So obviously you've got two tasks in reality to complete, not just one, which is why this is so difficult and why most candidates find this task so hard to do. And it is a hard task. I've tried doing it myself and it's difficult even for me, for native speakers. So for non-native speakers, it is a struggle. However, I'm going to give you a strategy in this lecture, which is going to make it really easy for you. And we're actually going to practice the strategy with some audio. So again, don't skip this lecture. There is audio in this lecture. There is an exam task in this lecture. Okay, so watch it till the end so that you can practice the strategy I'm about to give you. Okay, so let's have a look then. So your first step, okay, you've got 45 seconds to read the task before you listen to the audio. Okay, use that time, read the options and highlight keywords. Okay, as usual, only one word maybe per sentence, 2 max. Okay, so read the options, highlight, think of any synonyms, okay, keywords or synonyms. Okay, next step, ignore the options. I know it's weird, I've just told you to read everything and highlight. You're only reading and highlighting to give you a general idea of what you're listening to, okay? Then you're going to completely ignore it, okay? I've said this in a lot of lectures before, and I will say it again. This is not a reading test, it is a listening test. And this is where most people fail on this task in particular, okay? You've got so many options in front of you. You've got 2 different tasks and you've got about 8 options per task, which means you've got 16 different sentences to read while you're listening, okay? That's what you don't want to do. You don't want to read 16 different sentences while you're listening. You want to listen, which is precisely why I'm telling you, ignore the options completely, okay? The first time you listen, I want you to concentrate on the questions, okay? Ignore the options, look at the questions, and listen for the answer to the question. Not the answer based on the options, just the answer. Read the question and listen for the answer based on the question, not on the options. Okay. I know it might sound weird because you're like, well, the options are there, I need to do something. No. You can look at the options the second time you listen. Don't look at them the first time because all it will do is just put too much information in your head and you'll start getting confused. Okay. Trust me. Okay. We're going to have a practice in a second, but trust me, this strategy works. I use this strategy with all my students and all of them have said, oh my God, that just changed the way I've done this task. Okay, it changed my grade completely. Use this strategy because it works, please. Okay. Okay, so ignore the options. And then number 3, write notes. Okay, so while you're listening, you read the questions, listen, and then write notes while you're listening. Or write some quick notes after you listen. Okay, some people find it difficult to write and listen at the same time. There'll be about 2 or 3 seconds between each speaker, so quickly jot down a few keywords that you hear. Okay. By writing notes, I don't mean write an entire sentence. I mean write keywords that you hear, write different feelings that you hear. Okay. Write the general context of the situation. Okay, you don't have to write full sentences, just a few words. Okay. So write down some notes while you're listening. Okay. Then you're going to listen again, and now you're going to look a bit more at the options and start matching your notes to the options. Okay. So you're still going to be listening. Maybe write a few more notes, and then you can match. Okay. Now, the beauty of task 4 is that it comes at the end of the listening, okay? It's your final task. And when task 4 is finished, you will have an extra 5 minutes to transfer your answers onto your answer sheet from your exam paper, okay? So in those 5 minutes, if you're a fast writer, you could maybe take 1 minute from that to kind of quickly finish task 4 to match your answers, okay? You can do that, that's allowed, because you'll have an extra 5 minutes anyway, okay? So again, write down notes while you're listening, and then after you've listened, you can match the notes to the options, okay? So that's your strategy. Now we're going to practice it. I'm going to play you some audio, but I am not going to show you any options, okay? I'm not even going to give you the options the first time round. I'm only going to give you the questions. So you will be forced to listen. You will be forced to only look at the questions and listen, which is what I want you to do in the exam, okay? So this is your task, okay? So you're going to hear a short extract in which a person is talking about having children, okay? And then you've got task 1, task 2. Task 1 is what made the speaker decide to have a child. Task 2 is how did the speaker feel before having the child, okay? They are your questions. Focus on your questions, okay? Keywords, you've got decide, okay? So that's what you're focusing on. Some kind of decision was made, okay? Second task, feel. Again, you're listening out for feeling words, synonyms, idioms. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to play you the audio once, only with these questions. You're going to look at these questions. I want you to write notes while you're listening, okay? Write notes while you're listening. I'm going to play you the audio a second time, but the second time I will give you the options. I will let you see the options. I'll give you maybe 45 seconds to read the options, and then you'll listen again, write more notes, and then you're going to match your notes. Okay. All right. So let's listen for the first time then. Okay. So again, write notes. If you've got a pen and paper, start writing. Okay. Do not keep this in your head, okay? It's too much information. Write it down instead, okay? All right, so I'm going to play you your audio now. Okay, let's have a listen.
I can't believe it's been 5 years already since I became a mum. Gosh, what a roller coaster it's been. I remember before I got pregnant. I'd been going back and forth for years before I made up my mind. I guess it was time that made my mind up for me, really. I got to 35 and I thought, well, I'm not getting any younger. Even at 35, I was still classed as a mature mother by the hospital. Honestly, anyone would think I was 80 the way they were carrying on. When I found out I was pregnant, I was absolutely made up. But after the novelty wore off, that's when the nerves started to kick in. What if this happens? What if that happens? I was driving myself mad with all these imaginary situations. In the end, the doctor put me on medication to calm me down. Luckily, all that stress never harmed the baby, though, and everything turned out fine in the end. I put myself through so much stress, but it turned out I had nothing to worry about in the first place.
Okay, so that was the first time. Okay, so now I'm going to actually show you the options, and then I'm going to play you the audio. Okay, so here are your options. Okay. So, task 1, what made the speaker decide to have a child? Financial stability, family pressure, age concerns, a lifelong dream, or anti-abortion laws. Task 2, how did the speaker feel before having a child? Happy about the prospect, worried about financial costs, encouraged by their friends' experiences, anxious about possible problems, concerned about taking time off work. Okay, they are your options. I'll give you another maybe 10 seconds to have a look, think of some synonyms, and then I will play you the audio, okay? So you've got 10 seconds. Take another look at the options. Okay, now I'm going to play you the audio, okay? So again, write more notes. Write down some words that you hear, and then you can match your notes afterwards, okay? So let's listen to the audio then.
I can't believe it's been 5 years already since I became a mum. Gosh, what a roller coaster it's been. I remember before I got pregnant. I'd been going back and forth for years before I made up my mind. I guess it was time that made my mind up for me, really. I got to 35 and I thought, well, I'm not getting any younger. Even at 35, I was still classed as a mature mother by the hospital. Honestly, anyone would think I was 80 the way they were carrying on. When I found out I was pregnant, I was absolutely made up. But after the novelty wore off, that's when the nerves started to kick in. What if this happens? What if that happens? I was driving myself mad with all these imaginary situations. In the end, the doctor put me on medication to calm me down. Luckily, all that stress never harmed the baby, though, and everything turned out fine in the end. I put myself through so much stress, but it turned out I had nothing to worry about in the first place.
Okay. Right, so you've heard your audio. Now I want you to match the notes you've made to the options. Okay? So I'm going to give you 3 seconds to match to task 1. Okay? Task 1 only. What do you think for task 1? 3 seconds. Make your choice. Okay, so task 1 was age concerns, okay? So they were talking about time making their mind up for them, okay? Time made my mind up for me. I got to 35 and thought, oh, I'm not getting any younger, okay? Everything was about age, okay? Okay, so task 2 then, how did the speaker feel? Again, I'll give you 3 seconds. Match your notes to one of the options, okay? Okay, that's your 3 seconds up. Hopefully you've matched something there. Okay, the answer was anxious about possible problems. So there were a few kind of distractions here, okay? They did say that they were happy, that they were kind of made up about it, but that wasn't the main point, okay? They did also talk about work, but they didn't say they were concerned. They said they couldn't wait, okay, to take time off work. They also talked about money. However, they said that the maternity leave pay was really good. So again, that was the opposite. So she was anxious. She was saying she was driving herself mad, thinking about all these different things, making up imaginary situations. And then also you heard the word calm down. So the doctor put me on medication to calm me down. Okay, so that would be kind of an antonym of anxious. Okay. So hopefully you can see how this strategy helps you then. It helps you to kind of focus more on actually listening rather than getting confused by all of the different options in the task. So I would definitely recommend doing this in the exam. Okay, it's really helpful to you. Again, some people find it difficult to write, so maybe try to write after you've listened, jot down a few keywords again. In terms of strategy, some people like to do it another way. Some people like to just focus on task 1 the first time they listen and just focus on task 2 the second time. You can do that if you prefer. For me, I don't like doing that because then if you don't catch one of the speakers in task 1, you can't really go back and do it a second time because then you'll be focusing on task 2. Also, sometimes the tasks don't go in order. So you might hear like a feeling first, and then you might hear the answer to task 1 second, and vice versa. They don't put them in the same order, okay? So you can do that if you prefer it. I wouldn't suggest it, but it's up to you what you feel more comfortable with, okay? But with this strategy, every student I've told this strategy about has said it completely changed their grade, their mark for this task, and they kept getting a lot higher marks. So try it out, try it a few times with some practice tests, and kind of once you get used to it, it should get a lot easier for you. Okay, so that's it for our strategy. So head on over to the next lecture where I'm going to be showing you some common distractors that you need to watch out for in multiple matching. Okay, I'll see you there. Bye.